Content warning, this video will discuss mental health, depression, and anxiety. Also, spoiler warning for Young Justice Season 4. This new Young Justice season is really shaping up. It's getting exciting, all the plot threads are starting to tie together in super fun ways, but I don't want to talk about General Zod, or the Phantom Zone, or even Forager's sudden love for Shakespeare soliloquies. No, I want to talk about Beast Boy, aka Garfield Logan, and one particular scene, the scene in which the Justice League's resident therapist Black Canary finally gets through to Garfield, who'd been on a pretty self-destructive path since the start of the 4th season. Because this video is my entry into the Costume Codex's playlist, One Scene for Hope. I'll link her original video below, which explains the goal of this project more fully, but in a nutshell, now more than ever, the world feels like a pretty dark place. We all need to band together and fight for optimism, and to that end, this is a playlist based around creators finding a scene in our infinite ocean of audio-visual culture which offers a sense of real hope, and exploring how and why that hope is generated. There's a bunch of other really cool videos in this playlist which you should definitely check out. On topics from Star Wars to Casablanca, there's a really strong sense of fighting back against all the hopelessness here, and these videos all feel personal and genuine. And I wanted to try and strike a similar tone with my entry, but initially I wasn't too sure which angle to come at it from. After all, I'm straight, white, and male, and the thing about us straight white males is that, at least in wealthy Western countries like mine, we're not always the ones facing the harshest odds. The bloodthirsty maw of the late capitalist engine clamps down on us with a little less ferocity than it does some other groups. We are all in this rat race together, but in many ways people like me get a bit of a head start. Except for one, and that's when it comes to mental health. Obviously, all sorts of people struggle with mental health, some demographics disproportionately so, but I think it's fair to say that this is one of the biggest issues in societies like mine against which men like me aren't particularly privileged. But what does any of this have to do with Young Justice? Well, let's get back to Beast Boy. At the start of Phantoms, Garfield wasn't doing great. Leadership duties on his team, the Outsiders, as well as difficulties in a long-distance relationship, and a misplaced sense of guilt over the fate of his former teammate Geoforce, had Garfield fighting to keep it together. Superboy's seeming death is the straw that breaks the camel's back. After getting back to Earth, Gar stops going on mission with the Outsiders, he pushes his girlfriend Perdita away, and he starts taking sleeping pills. Lots of sleeping pills. For the next bunch of episodes, this story takes a bit of a backseat, but we see little vignettes here and there of Garfield retreating from his life, putting up walls between himself and concerned others, and generally failing to process Connor's death. What's more, he's in denial about the whole thing. He thinks he's managing just fine.
You need help. Let me get you help.
I don't need help.
While all of this was playing out in the background, fan response was mixed. A lot of viewers felt this storyline was being dragged out, but when it came back into the foreground in the season's second half, this opinion began to shift, following two major scenes. A failed intervention led by Garfield's sister McGann, and then a few episodes later, a mental health assessment with Black Canary. It's that latter moment we're focusing on here. There are two reasons this changed people's opinion on the Beast Boy storyline. First, it brought back the Canary as counselor dynamic which the show had used once or twice before to great success, which incidentally I've talked about before on this channel. But second, and more importantly, Garfield's meeting with Canary is really powerful to watch. At this point, Garfield's still in denial, and he's only attending this meeting to tick the necessary boxes. He thinks he can just breeze by, drop some platitudes about how he's processing trauma in his own way, then go home and return to his malaise. Initially, he's giving nothing to Canary, just like he gave nothing to the group of teammates and friends who attempted that intervention a few episodes earlier. But soon enough, that changes.
I knew he was weakened, low oxygen, solar cells not charged, and I left him there alone to deal with the bomb.
But it was the kryptonite that killed him. And McGann? She let Connor stay with the bomb too. Is she to blame for his death?
What? No! She loved Connor!
And you didn't?
After Canary realizes that the thing driving all this, the thing responsible for turning Gar's mental state from not great to disaster, was survivor's guilt around Connor's death, as well as all the other people Beast Boy had lost previously, his blank facade cracks.
I could have gone with Miss Martian to the North Pole.
And Rita?
I should have been with her on that last Doom Patrol mission.
And your mother?
I should have stopped Queen Bee.
How is an 8-year-old child supposed to do that?
I could have done something.
This is a really powerful scene, but it's also pretty heavy. We're seeing Beast Boy finally break down, after half a season of build-up. So why is this my one scene for hope? Well, as distressing as it is to watch, this is what needed to happen, to stop Garfield from sinking even further into a swamp of trauma and a lifetime of misplaced guilt. He doesn't magically snap back to his healthy self. In many ways, this is his lowest point yet. But for the first time, he's able to stop blaming himself and to see that he needs help. Alright, so on balance, it's a positive step for Garfield. But he's a fictional character. Why does this scene give me hope? Well, I think what we see here is a reflection of the way that others can see and reach struggle, when they know how to and when they care enough to go beyond the surface. Beyond just asking if you're okay. Garfield thinks he can answer a few surface-level questions with the right buzzwords, and that'll give him a pass. That he'll be able to keep trying to move past his issues by himself. But Canary doesn't let him. She could, it would be easy to, but she prods when he gets flustered, and she listens intently to what he says, picking up on the little hints he's unintentionally dropping that tell her what's really going on.
You think you're responsible for Connor's death?
I know I am.
Okay. You mentioned Wally earlier. Are you to blame for his death too?
Canary's engaging in depth with Garfield's trauma narrative. She's recognizing the feelings which drive his despair, and she's unpicking that narrative in simple terms, undeniable terms. She's so astute at this that she's able to get to grips with the specific issues Gar's grappling with and guide him into making the crucial realizations for himself.
I should have stopped it all somehow.
How?
I don't know. I need help.
I've been lucky enough to never struggle seriously with depression myself, but throughout my life I have known many other men, friends and family members who haven't been so lucky, who have been pushed to their breaking point by depression, despite society's increasing awareness of the issues. Because awareness alone doesn't really help that much. Nowadays there's slogans and posters on buildings, buses, even beer mats, saying things like, 1/3 of all men deal with depression in their lifetime, talk to your friends, or other stuff like that. And while destigmatizing this kind of stuff is helpful, this sort of thing isn't a solution for anyone. Everyone's problems are specific and unique, and they're not fixed by a beer mat reminding them that they're struggling. This Justice League mandated mental health checkup initially seems like just another example of this pattern. The way society's aware of the problem without really seeing individuals and seeing individuals' struggle and trauma. But then we see that the boxes Canary's been checking during their session don't exist. She's been making fake checkmarks on a blank piece of paper. This was never a formality, an empty gesture towards mental health awareness like we see so often in reality. No. Instead, this scene depicts what happens when someone really tries to see and to help a struggling person, when someone who knows what they're doing wades into that swamp of trauma and shares the burden. This scene reminds us that therapy isn't for the weak, it's for those strong enough to admit they need help. It reminds us that people like Garfield aren't just statistics, they are individuals who are traumatized or hurt for complex and heartbreaking reasons they may not even be aware of themselves, and it reminds us that they're never beyond reach. That's why I think at its core this is a really hopeful scene. It's hard to watch, but it's worth it, and I want to sincerely thank Young Justice for telling Garfield's story. And the thing is, I'm not even just saying this because it sounds good for the video, because it's a strong rhetorical point to finish on. I'll be real with you for a second. While I've never struggled seriously with depression, I've been having a pretty bad time recently with anxiety. I won't go into the details, but the last few months particularly haven't been very cash money for me in this regard. And honestly, when it's been at its worst, I've been kind of like Beast Boy. The way he struggles to sleep, the way he can't do the things he normally would. This story then made me re-examine my own coping mechanisms, and the way I've been dealing with this anxiety. It made me ask myself, have the methods I've developed to fight this problem been working? Are they sustainable? At the moment, I think so. Currently, I think I've got a handle on things, but that's also what Beast Boy thought, and that's gonna stay with me. The other thing is, this is a cartoon. We don't all have access to the therapy skills of Black Canary in real life. Accessing help like this is often slow and expensive, if you're in a position to access it at all. But in the future, depending on how we vote, depending on how we influence our governments, their budgets, and their stances on healthcare, it's conceivable that this doesn't have to be the case forever. So in keeping with the theme of this playlist, let's not lose track of that hope. As we wrap up, I want to stress explicitly that in this video I wasn't attempting to frame mental health struggles as an exclusively male domain. Obviously, this is far from the case. But I wanted to explore the hope I found in this scene from the viewpoint of my life, my experiences, and my perception of the strange phantom presence that mental health awareness and depression have and don't have in modern masculinity. So that's what I've tried to do here. I don't even know if this is the correct reading of the scene, or of Garfield's wider plot in Young Justice Phantoms. For one, I don't know how the whole intervention thing a few episodes earlier fits in with what we've been talking about and the way I've approached it, but this is what the scene said to me. And art's kind of more about what you get out of it than what's put in. You should all check out the rest of this playlist, One Scene for Hope. It's linked in the description below. Coincidentally, I'm running a collaborative playlist of my own currently, though perhaps one with a slightly less lofty purpose, trying to promote a fan revival campaign for an old show, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So check that out too if you're interested, link down below also. And I've got a bunch of other Young Justice videos in the works too, so make sure to subscribe if you want to catch those when they come out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and thanks to all my patrons on screen now, especially Kevin Douglas and Ian Fifield.